Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How the hell are you? Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I have tried to record this video probably three, maybe four times now, and every time I've followed what Russell Brunson, Mike Dillard, and all those other gurus suggest, which is to follow a script, which is to have, the opening, the intro, your story, the false beliefs, all that kind of stuff, and to follow it through, bang, 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 to have it a certain length of time with a certain number of slides and all this different format. And every time I recorded it, it was shit, basically. So it was normally me speaking over the top of my slides, but this is me speaking directly to the camera, so you can see I've got no script. Not that that's important to prove, but I just wanted to give you the background. Welcome to this video, welcome to my website. Thank you for clicking on it. I just wanted to spend a few minutes telling you about who I was, what I do, my coaching program, and also how I can help you, what inspires me, what I love to do. So basically, my story is I am the Untamed entrepreneur. I've been running my business for a couple of years. I provide one-on-one mentoring to people, coaching. I am an international speaker and I live nomadically, which means my fiance and I get to travel the world and live wherever the hell we like as long as the internet's good and the time zone's not too awkward. And last year we lived in 10 countries. No, last year we lived in 6 countries. The year before that was 10. Loads of traveling around, lots of freedom. We Gran Canaria, Cuba, Thailand, Mexico, New Zealand, even places like Malta and Switzerland. We've been to them all and we absolutely love it. But most importantly, above all of that, what I love to do most is help people align themselves with who they truly are and what they love to do. And the reason I'm inspired to do that so much is because that's a journey that I've been on myself. I haven't always lived on my own terms like this. I haven't always been massively inspired by what I do and by my business. And basically, I went from being a demotivated and unfulfilled business manager, business leader back in Australia to doing what I'm doing now. And I was chained to a desk. I was running an engineering business back in the day. And during the first part of it, the learning curve was amazing. The opportunity was fantastic. I was thrown in the deep end. I was making new connections. I was learning loads about myself. And the pay was all right. And then slowly after a while, I realized when the novelty started wearing off, when the comfort zone expanded, my opportunity for growth was slowed down. Basically, the cracks started to appear, and I realized that I didn't love the job that much. I really wasn't inspired by it. I really wasn't inspired by the people I served, by my clients, and certainly not by the industry. And over a time, it took a while to notice. Over time, it was incremental, and I realized I was slowly drifting further away from who I was and what I love to do. Now, when I first started, for about 3 or 4 years, I was getting into the office at 6:30 in the morning, working 10-hour days, really energized. And then towards the end, I realized I was sleeping in later and later, and I was snoozing 5 or 6 times. And there was one morning when my partner, she was my girlfriend at the time, and now my fiance, she was leaving for work, and I was still in bed. And I'd snoozed about 8 times, and I really couldn't be asked getting out of bed. And that was the morning when I was like, holy shit, something needs to change. I really need to stop this rot. I need to get back on track. I need to re-energize, and I can't go on living like this, just putting up with average, basically. So I threw myself in at the deep end. I spent like $25,000 on figuring out myself, figuring out who I was, what I love to do, what I'm inspired by. I signed up to all of the courses you can think of, online courses, offline courses. I flew to Bali to do some training and attend a business seminar. For a weekend, I flew from Australia to Canada for a week-long event. I signed up to all these. I read like 60 books. Ultimately, 25 grand and 1,300 hours of my time was spent figuring out who I was and what I should be doing. And I ended up with this amazing amount of clarity and focus. And I was like, this is me. This is what I'm inspired to do, and this is the direction I want to go in. And basically, this is now what I do. It turns out that the mission that I was on then, what I'm inspired to do, is actually help people go through the same process I went through. Because I can resonate with it. I know exactly how you feel. You may be in a job, you may be running a business, more likely, and you've just lost that clarity, that direction, that energy, and your profits and your happiness are struggling and suffering as a result. So I want to help you get back on track by bringing you back aligned with who you are and what inspires you. The process I use for that, I'm not going to go into any complex terms because it's not really a fixed process, but the analogy I will use is like a sailing race. A lot of you out there are probably thinking, okay, well, I know what I'm doing right now. It's not me. There's something else out there, but what is it? What does it look like? If you can think of yourself at the start line of a sailing race, and you know that somewhere in the horizon is your finish line, is your goal, is your perfect life, is your perfect business, is your alignment. But it could be over that direction, could be over that direction, could be that direction, could be that direction. You have no idea where it is. So that was the process I was in. And by going through all of this stuff that I went through very ineffectively and inefficiently and very expensively, I kind of narrow those options down. So what I work to do is help people narrow those options down, but for a lot less time and a lot less money. So we go through the personal development, the self-awareness. The first stage, I call it the identity phase. And that is where we clarify what you love to do, what you're inspired by, what puts you in a state of flow, and basically get rid of a load of the options out there that may be confusing you right now. So then immediately the horizons go back to there. And then we work on your mission. We understand what your purpose is, what your overarching objective might be. And then we clarify who you're inspired to serve, whether that's a business owner more likely or as an employee. There's somebody out there you're adding value to. Otherwise, you wouldn't be paid for doing what you're doing. And if you're not inspired by that person, then there's something missing there. So when you go through those 3 layers to begin with, that you'll be amazed at how many of those options that were on the horizon are now gone, and you're left with a much narrower band of things that would inspire you and would energize you and that you would be good at. So that's what that's the process that we're getting to. And then the trial and error is you then, in between that, trialing things, being conscious about what you're doing, learning whether it works, whether it doesn't work, and your zigzags, just like they are in a sailing race, are like this, a lot narrower to your finish line than they would have been, which is all over the place and sometimes back on yourself and people going around all over the place. And I'm sure you know those people. So that's the process. That's what I want to help you with. I do that through one-on-one coaching, and we have a call every week or every couple of weeks, and we really dive deep into who you are. We get underneath the skin, underneath your self-talk and your narrative, and figure out what the truth actually is. I want to basically stop you making decisions, business decisions or life decisions that are built off the wrong foundation, because ultimately, if you don't know yourself, you're making decisions off incorrect assumptions, which is like building a perfectly good building, but on a marshland. It's not going to last very long. So we get deep, we figure out the foundations to make sure that every decision you make from then on is built off the right foundations. And crucially, that leaves you with the tools and the resources that you can apply again and again and again when these situations crop up, when your mission changes, when your situation changes and your objectives change. So that's what I want to do through one-on-one coaching. I dive really deep into it. I absolutely love what I do, so I plow so much time in between sessions. My clients, who hopefully have been featured on this site in different interviews and different testimonials, can attest to that. So I'd love to have you along. I would be more than willing to give you a 15, 30-minute free chat to figure out where you are, what you're doing right now. And then if we work together, there'll be full accountability, full support, and I wouldn't leave until the job is done. So thank you again for watching this. I've probably gone on way too long. I did way prefer it without a script, so I hope I added some value at least, and schedule that call. And I genuinely believe that what I do is life-changing, and it could be the most important decision you ever make. So I hope to see you there.